contemplating the relationship between the body and mind. Next, I will explain how to use wisdom to coordinate the body and mind. Using wisdom to contemplate the body and contemplate the mind in relation to the mind's aramanas, or preoccupations, will enable the mind to know and see the harmful consequences of the body and the harmful consequences of the mind's preoccupations. This is because the mind subsists on mental preoccupations. Whatever preoccupations they may be, they all arise in the mind. Evil preoccupations, good preoccupations, preoccupations of love, and preoccupations of hatred all exist in the mind. Preoccupations of greed, anger, and delusion also exist in the mind. Preoccupations of passion and lust also exist in the mind. Whatever the preoccupation may be, once it arises in the mind, discern what it is in order to contemplate with wisdom in a manner appropriate to that type of preoccupation. Use wisdom to point out to your mind the harmful consequences of that preoccupation, so that your mind knows and sees those harmful consequences each and every time. Whatever preoccupation it may be, once it arises in the mind, it causes the mind to stumble every time. This is because the mind is like a theater. Defilements, kilesa, and desires, tanha, choose which movie to play for the mind. Whichever movie is selected, the mind will always sway in the direction of that narrative. Suffice it to say that whatever preoccupation arises in the mind, it never goes to waste. There are funny and exciting stories, stories of grief and loneliness, stories of killing with various weapons, and stories of competition and taking advantage of others. Defilements and desires perform all kinds of stories. The mind cannot remain idle. The moment one story ends, another begins in an endless cycle. The mind that dwells in these preoccupations is never bored. It spins around and around, not knowing whether the preoccupations are new or old, as they are all jumbled up in the mind. You do not know whether the preoccupations are from the past, future, or present. They are so tangled up, you cannot tell where they start or end. The mind that is enveloped by ignorance, avijja, does not know that those preoccupations are suffering, does not know that preoccupations are the cause of suffering, does not know how to extinguish suffering, and does not know how to practice in order to extinguish suffering. That is why it is called a deluded mind. That is, it is deluded by the preoccupations that arise in the mind. These preoccupations cause the mind to worry and struggle. This happens because the mind does not see the harm in these preoccupations and is pleased because it is accustomed to them. This familiarity with those preoccupations causes the mind to become inattentive because there is nothing to point out and warn the mind of the harmful consequences. As a result, the mind does not know to seek a way to fix itself. Thus, the mind is stupid and foolish. It allows desires to lead it by the nose. It happens so quickly that the mind does not see it coming. It thinks alone in a vacuum, along foolish lines of thought. Whatever preoccupation arises, the mind runs after it without awareness. This, in turn, creates the causes and conditions for the mind to experience preoccupations of failure and depravity, because the mind does not know the reality of those preoccupations that arise. This is why it is said that defilements encourage the mind to conform to the various preoccupations that arise. In order to wash and cleanse the mind, you must wash the mind's views so that the mind reverses its manner of thinking. This way, the mind will be sharp and intelligent and know cause and effect, beginning and end. This relies on wisdom to train the mind to know according to the preoccupations that arise within it. These preoccupations arise through many channels. That is, when the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body come into contact with forms, sounds, scents, tastes, and touch, preoccupations will arise in the mind. These are called Dhammaram, or mind objects. Mind objects are what cause the mind to become obsessed with ayatana-based aramana, or sense-based preoccupations. When one of these sense-based preoccupations arises in the mind, you must observe and determine from which sense base that preoccupation originated. Focus on knowing that preoccupation first. That way, you can teach the mind to recognize the extent of harm that preoccupation may cause, so that the mind will no longer be obsessed with it. It is these sense-based preoccupations that arise in the mind that cause practitioners of mental development to stumble. This is because practitioners do not know how to fix them. Just as the bamboo tree meets its demise because of the seeds that arise from the tree itself, so does the practitioner of mental development meet their demise because of the preoccupations that arise within their own mind. When these preoccupations arise within the minds of those who are not wise, they will never disappear from their minds. Tranquil meditation, samatha, cannot be used as the sole basis of practice because tranquil meditation merely calms the mind. It cannot be used to cast off defilements. Even if the tranquility is so refined that it reaches the level of meditative attainments, jhana samapatti, whether it is material absorptions, rupa jhana, or immaterial absorptions, arupa jhana, it will merely suppress the defilements for days at a time. It is like a rock sitting atop grass. It smothers it temporarily, but don't forget that even small roots can creep into crevices within the rock. When the time is right, those roots will be able to push through the rock and cause it to break apart into smaller pieces. The same is true of using tranquil meditation to suppress preoccupations. One day, when you aren't paying attention, those preoccupations will explode within the mind. There will be no good left to be found in the mind, as it will have become a worthless mind, rotting day and night without any standpoint, awaiting ultimate devastation. In the end, all there is left to do is put down your alms bowl and robes and smile graciously as you say, "I have run out of ordination merit. Please excuse me. If I remain a monk, I'm afraid I will sin and cultivate bad karma." If this happens, then may the lay people prepare a bed, pillow, and a mat to welcome you. They can lay the mat anywhere suitable. It can be outside, inside, or anywhere. It's up to them. Soon, they will get to escort someone who has run out of ordination merit to seek merit as a layman. Sometimes, by becoming a layman, you might cultivate enough merit to return to the cloth. This is what the author has experienced. I am writing this as a preventative measure, because by writing this, I will be conscious of my writing and more or less ashamed to face the reader should I fall down that path. This way, I will protect myself by not practicing meditation one-sidedly. Instead, I will be wise and contemplate with wisdom in order for my mind to be sharp and able to fix the preoccupations that arise within my mind. It is this mental sharpness that serves as a path for practitioners to escape from the mouth of the hawk, as in the saying, "Knowing how to dodge is a wing, knowing how to avoid is a tail." The mind must be sharp in order to fix the problems that arise and awaken the mind in order to extract itself from its association with sense-based preoccupations. Just as the tip of the needle guides the needle and thread to join together in the fabric, sharp wisdom leads the mind to be intelligent and allows it to have comprehensive and expansive knowledge of the preoccupations that arise within the mind. This knowledge is precise. Absent this mental sharpness, even if you contemplate with wisdom, it will not bear fruit. It will skip back and forth, and you will be unable to establish a foundation of wisdom. Defilements and wisdom each have their turn, but fail to ever meet and confront one another face to face. All that you see are the traces of excrements that defilements have left as a gift for you. Laziness, inactivity, anger, delusion, eating too much, and sleeping too much are all excrements of defilements. If defilements happen to meet wisdom, it will be when wisdom is careless and not paying attention, so it allows defilements to defecate on the mind and cause a big stink. All of this is due to wisdom not being sharp enough. It is like the saying, "all hat and no cattle," or the method of, "hit the jungle to scare the tigers." This is pointless, rambling wisdom. Why should defilements be afraid? If it were wisdom stemming from the sharpness of the mind, defilements would cower and find it difficult to make their way into the mind. This is because defilements like to dwell in dark places. Whenever the mind is dark, defilements reveal themselves. If there is wisdom to illuminate the mind, and there exists both comprehensive knowledge and expansive knowledge within the mind, it will be as the Buddhist proverb, "Nati panya sama apa." There is no light like wisdom. This is what the light of wisdom is like. That wisdom is your own wisdom. The reason it is said that one is one's own refuge is because one's own weapons are one's own wisdom. Wisdom is the ornament of the wise man and is the sharp intelligence of those who will attain release from this world. Just as mirrors are useless for blind people, knowledge is of no use to those who lack wisdom. Wisdom does not exist in those who do not think. Discernment is absent in those who lack sharp intelligence. That is why they call it abundant wisdom or good wisdom. You may understand what abundant wisdom is. However, good wisdom can be good whether there is little or much of it. The sharpness of the wisdom is the key. Practitioners of mental cultivation realize this and endeavor to develop this sharpness within their minds. The term vicakkana refers to this sharpness. It serves as the cause that enables you to be aware of sense-based preoccupations at any given moment. If you lack sharpness, your mind may easily be distracted, and you will not know how to fix the preoccupations that arise within your mind. Consequently, you let defilements and desires drag you along pleasing preoccupations. Suppose a preoccupation that arose in the past gives rise to a preoccupation of the future, and that in turn generates a present preoccupation. The mind will sway and swirl according to various preoccupations without any end in sight. For example, the eyes come into contact with some form, and a preoccupation arises within the mind. You draw a mental picture of the past or of the present in your mind, and imagine that form in various scenarios. The more you imagine, the more your mind clings to it. The more the mind is attached to that supposition, sammuti, the more defilements expand. Mental formations, sankhara, immediately begin to work. Mental formations will operate only with supposition at the forefront. If supposition did not exist in the mind, how would mental formations operate? Mental formations merely provide support for suppositions to expand in order to manipulate the mind into attachment. Just as a spider creates a web and gets stuck in it, the mind gets stuck in suppositions and mental formations. If suppositions have been established and mental formations have not been formed, then those suppositions will gradually fade on their own. If mental formations have been formed and no suppositions have been established, then those mental formations will immediately shrink. Whenever suppositions and mental formations join hands, there is a flare-up of pleasing preoccupations in the mind as a result of that collaboration. This is how ignorance and delusion arise in the mind. The mind that is infatuated with and deluded by mental formations is deluded by this collaboration. The mind revolves around the cycle of rebirth, vatta, and inhabits various small and large existences, bhava, because it is deluded by preoccupations stemming from suppositions and mental formations. The mind is pleased by sensual pleasures, kamaguna, because of these preoccupations. The mind experiences sadness, grief, and tears because of these preoccupations. The mind experiences frustration, resentment, lamentation, regret, hurt, and various dangers because the mind is deluded by these suppositions and mental formations. As the proverb says, piya rupang sata rupang, desires arise from that which is tempting and pleasurable. Pemato chayati soko, from fondness there arises grief. Ratiya chayati soko, from delight there arises grief. Kamato chayati soko, from pleasure there arises grief. Tanhaya chayati soko, from desire there arises grief. Piyato chayati soko, from love there arises grief. Piyato chayati payang, from love there arises fear. Piyato vipamuttasa, nati soko kutto payang. For one who is free from love, there is no grief. How is there fear? The sea is not satisfied with all rivers, nor is the mind with its preoccupations. This is because the desires within the heart are infinite. Whenever there is a flare-up of any preoccupation in the mind, there must be a method to restrain that preoccupation. Those who are awakened do not see fanciful preoccupations. Just so, The mind that is sharp possesses mindfulness and wisdom, and is self-aware, does not see precious preoccupations that have already passed. Just like an ant stuck in honey, so is the mind stuck in preoccupations.